The real win is knowing both of these strategies, knowing which to use and when and how to apply them. And if you learn that stuff, if you'll apply yourself to learn that in 2026, since we're at the beginning of the year, there's no reason why you can't travel. We're going to get to hear from both of you, two experts with the same area of expertise, travel, points and miles, but y'all have kind of two different strategies. Let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about, maybe Steph, you can kind of lead the way here.
Sure. Big lie about points. There's only one way to book with points. I hear this a lot from people who think the JGOOT way won't be right for them because they travel a certain way or can't travel another way. I hear these myths all the time, and they are myths. So the reason why we created the JGOOT way of travel is to say that like anybody can kind of fit into the JGOOT way so long as you learn the way. So we can help people who have fixed dates, fixed destinations. We can help people who are teachers, have kids, who have big families. Yes, because we've created a structure where everything kind of fits. It's just you might have to compromise, one thing over another. Maybe you're compromising on destination because you can't compromise on dates, etc. But there is a way for everyone to make this hobby work.
Yeah, and why most people get burned. So a lot of times the problem isn't the strategy, it's timing. So, like Stephanie said, you can plan early, you can do close in, but if you don't know why you should do either one or when you should do or what the pros and cons are of doing each, you can kind of run into trouble. So, using a search tool, but looking at the wrong time, looking for specific destinations at super peak dates like December 20th or January 2nd or Thanksgiving. In the coaching program, so in the lounge, a checkpoint are basically, and Stephanie and I do 3 a week just for redeeming points. And there's others on how to earn points, what cards are right for you, all the different aspects of JGOOT. But yeah, so we do checkpoints and they're focused on region. And we basically get on and we live work with some of the lounge members to look at trips they're doing. They'll bounce ideas off us. We'll do live examples. We'll look at things. We'll do anything related to redeeming points on that. So that's one of our checkpoints. And yeah, I just had one on Asia, from Asia. So it was kind of meta in a way.
Yeah, so people will do this and then they'll say, points don't work for me because I tried to get to Australia on December 20th and there wasn't anything available, not realizing that it just was not the right strategy at the time.
All right, Steph, let's start with you. Why don't you kind of walk us through your strategy here and why this works for you?
It's because I've kind of narrowed down what I'd consider like sweet spots. Certain airlines that are known for having availability a year in advance when it first drops. These are programs that typically have more fixed award charts where you know what the price is going to be because their prices don't fluctuate. So it is very just sort of expected and I can plan for it, and that just kind of eases my brain. I know what I'm paying and I know exactly what to look for and I know what day to go after it. And then if I want to get creative and if I want to have fun with like some other specialty route or product that I really want to fly, I might either try and book that close in last minute and then cancel my original booking, or I might fly like something special one direction, but on the way home, for instance, I will have my tried and true route booked. So I do some stuff like that. So lock in value before the demand spikes. Yes. Well, this is the education part. This mostly relies on fixed award charts. There are different types of award pricing. When we say award, we just mean points pricing. Each airline has its own structure, and some airlines have what we call a fixed pricing structure, which means they just set a price and that is the price. It doesn't fluctuate up or down like cash flights do.
All right, so Steph, when does your strategy of planning in advance typically work best? Where are the best opportunities for people to do this?
So obviously, if you have the ability to book a year in advance, if dates matter to you, you're going to need this because yes, it's going to be helpful to have some date flexibility, but if you don't have date flexibility, then you have to be really darn sure that you're using the most reliable program out there, not one that's wishy-washy and has all these dynamic rates and unknown award space, right? You need a program that you know that date is going to be available the day that it drops. When inventory is limited, so when we know XYZ airline is only going to drop 2 seats, and when those 2 seats are gone, they're gone, that's first come, first serve. That's going to benefit the early bookers when demand is predictable. So when we know peak versus off-peak timing, like we can predict, okay, if this is a peak date, I really absolutely need to be the first person to log on and get these seats. If it's off peak, I might know I have a little more wiggle room. So it really shines when you have those high demand times and you know it. And then when you want maximum options. So my reliable award space. So if it's on my little list of sweet spots and I know it's good to book, it's a saver rate, meaning it's the lowest rate that they're going to offer. I have seasonal patterns I trust. I have certain times a year that I'm probably not going to go to a certain continent unless I really had to. Flexibility to pivot if needed. I give myself the maximum amount of flexibility in terms of things I can control, right? Not everyone can control their PTO time or whatever. I'm fortunate that in that area. But even if I wasn't, I make myself have the maximum flexibility when it comes to things like positioning or little inconvenient things.
Tom, let's flip your way. The opportunist. Is this a picture of you waiting for the perfect moment to book a flight?
Little known fact about me, I only fly aircrafts that have bars on them now. That was my New Year's resolution. If it doesn't have a bar, I'm not flying. But yeah, the opportunist. So a lot of times I'm booking close in. So I did say, obviously, there's pros and cons to both strategies. If I'm going to need to be at a cruise, if I need to be somewhere on a specific date, I'm booking as early as possible. But for a lot of my fun trips, a lot of times, like Steph working multiple jobs, it's tough for me anyways to plan more than like a month or two in advance. So a lot of times for like my pleasure trips, I'm doing that fairly last minute. And what I'm doing is I'm watching for openings. And as soon as I see something, I book. So it's not uncommon for me to start my search and have a flight at the end of like a 1-2 hour search marathon or something. I'm pretty much in and out when I'm booking. And then where last minute wins. So a lot of times it could be something like demand dropping unexpectedly, inventory getting dumped. So you'll see this sometimes in the summer.
All right. So what are your pull the trigger conditions? How do you know when to strike, when to capitalize on what you find?
Yeah. So if I start seeing availability dumping, so sometimes I won't even have a trip in mind. I'll just be playing around, and I'm sure Steph does this too. When you're watching TV, all of a sudden the iPad's out and you're like, oh, what if I do this search? And you're just randomly searching. And sometimes you'll see him be like, hey, I got a really good deal through Doha in 2 weeks. You want to go to Doha? So sometimes just searching and just seeing stuff pop up last minute. And, if you have the flexibility, being able to just jump on that. Pattern breaks too. That kind of goes with the seasonality. Stephanie was talking about shoulder season. Everyone's traveling around these big peak holidays. Like everyone's going to Japan for cherry blossom season. I don't even look at flights to Japan. And then having your risk clearly defined. This is a big one. And I think this is one I talked about at the JGOOT cruise too, is especially if you're just starting, get a safety flight. Book a premium economy flight, like have something so that if you have a trip in mind, you're able to do that trip and then book that and then keep an eye out for the last minute deals. So again, if you have a cruise that you need to be on, if you have your sister's wedding, something important or something that's on a specific date, don't wait until 2 weeks before and just expect it to be there, right? Like, because you have to be flexible. So a lot of times if you're booking last minute, maybe you're targeting December 17th and you have to go to December 14th, or I won't say December 20th, so December 19th, you have to kind of flex. So if your cruise is leaving on December 17th, and you can't make it there, you either have to get there a couple days early or you miss it. If you have really specific things you need to do, fixed dates, fixed locations, earlier is probably going to be more of your friend.
And really, I know we've kind of had fun with this. This is really a debate between Team Steph, Team Tom here, and these two styles. The real win is knowing both of these strategies, knowing which to use and when and how to apply them. And if you learn that stuff, if you'll apply yourself to learn that in 2026, since we're at the beginning of the year, there's no reason why you can't travel the way that we talk about, the way that Steph does and Tom does, and so many of our lounge members do. Let me throw this out there. Joel put this in the chat, so hopefully you've seen it. But anybody who wants us to send you some of these alerts, great cash deals or points deals, we actually do this for you. Now, you still want to learn it, and we want to teach it to you because you'll find more. You'll be able to do this on your own for the trips that you want to take, but we'll help you get started and find stuff that you didn't even know that you were looking for. That's a big part of the JGOOT Vault. And so if you haven't already, I want you to get over to jgoot.com/services. You'll see the vault there along with everything else that we offer. And if you don't know where to start, if you're looking and man, there's just so many things, I don't know which one is the best one for me, then hop on a call. Get to jgoot.com/call. You'll speak with one of our advisors. They'll talk with you a little bit about your travel goals. Hey, what do you have in store for 2026? What do you want to do in 2027 and beyond? And based on that, they'll point you to whatever resources we've got that are best for you, whether it's coaching, whether it's one of our mini memberships, or whether it's just getting back to the book. Those conversations happen too. So it's a pretty quick, pretty safe call, but they'll get you pointed in the right direction.